Welcome everybody. This is just a little sample to show what it looks like for my fast time clock, but it's also a real-time clock, and this is designed for model railroads but can be used for many other things. So here we have it right now. It's a basic clock. It starts out in real-time mode. So right there it says it's 11:28 and then it just went to 11:29. I can adjust the brightness of this display by turning it up and down. You can see it gets quite a bit brighter. Or I can turn it back and I can get it down and it's relatively dim. So it'll matter on your ambient light which works better for you. It's a little hard to tell here with the camera, but you can see that it's changing. So I'm going to leave it up here about half brightness. We should be able to see that, and that works out fine. There's also 3 LEDs located. There's one here, and one back. Oh, it fell down underneath. Let me just try and pick that up. I'm sure we'll see it here shortly anyways. So there's 3 different colored LEDs. Right now we have a green LED on. That green LED is telling me that I'm in real-time run mode. So right now I'm at the real-time mode. I have 4 push buttons down here. The one on the left is for selecting what mode I want it to operate in. And there's 5 modes. I'll go through those shortly. The center 2 buttons, up and down, there's a up and down, does exactly that. It goes up and down, it moves the numbers like that when we're doing settings. It also starts using the up button and stops or pauses when we're using the fast clock, and I'll show you that. And on the right hand side we have an enter button, and that enter button would be used to save any data and move on to the next steps that you're doing when you're changing settings. So let's show you some of the modes first of all. So when I push the button once, we see a yellow light also comes on. So now we have a green light and a yellow light. That now tells me that I'm in set mode for the clock. And as you can see, the clock went to, pardon me, went to 2018. That's the year. If I push the enter button once, it goes to the month, which happens to be August, which is today. Goes to the 19th. Then it goes to the hour, which is 11. Goes to the minutes, which is 30. And I had the ability to change by using the up and down buttons. But I'll put it back to 30 and I'll hit enter again. And now it's flashed, and that tells you that that time has now been saved into the clock. So if your time zone is different than mine, if you were to build this, or we hit the spring ahead or fall back on the time zone changes, you know, daylight savings time, you can adjust your clock and it will remember that. Even if it's powered down, it remembers it. That's why it's important to use the enter key when you change it, so that it remembers it and writes it to the microprocessor itself in the Uno. It does it to memory. So let's move on to the next step. The next step, the blue light comes on. And when we first turn this on, we see the display is flashing. The flashing indicators, since the whole number's flashing, tells us that we're in pause mode for the fast clock. And it's currently set for 15 hours, 47 minutes. So if I press start, the time goes on steady. And we just have to wait a few seconds. I'm not sure what I have this fast clock set to right now. Oh, there it goes, it went to 48. So depending what the fast clock is set at, what ratio, this will take a few more seconds, and we can see it just went to 49 minutes. And then it's going to go to 50 minutes. At any time during the operating session, if for some reason we got to fix a glitch or take care of something, or we just take a break from operating, we can press the pause button, at which time this will flash the display. Now I'm going to move on to the next mode. If you forget to pause it, when you leave this mode, it will go to pause mode anyways, automatically. So the next time we do it, we turn on and we have the yellow light, means that we are in a setting mode. So from here, I can change the clock. And I want you to notice a couple of little things here. The colon in the middle is flashing to let you know that you are in set mode if you're looking at the display. So that tells you we're not running right now, we're in set mode. But then there's a little dot beside the number 1. The number 1 is the first number I can adjust, is the tens of hours. So if I want to move this back to 8 o'clock in the morning, for instance, I can make that go down. I'll hit the enter button, which will now move me to the second digit. And I want to go up because I want it to be 8 o'clock. I went too far, so I'll go back one. There it is, 8 o'clock. And I'll do that. Now I can go to the 5, and I'm going to bring this down to 0. So now it starts at 8 a.m. I'm going to hit enter. And I'm going to hit enter even though I'm at the last one. I'll hit enter again, and now that time is set. So now it is now 8 a.m. instead of 1530 or 15 whatever the time was at the when we started setting it, 1550 something. So let's go down to the next setting. So I can press set again, or mode actually, which will leave the blue light on and the yellow light on, but you'll see the display will change. And this time it changes, and this is the ratio. So it's right now it's set for 0, 1 on the right hand side, so it's an 8 to 1 clock at the moment. Well, I can speed that up. And I have this set up so I can go as high as 12. It won't go higher than 12. But I can also bring it back to a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you want to run it real time, but you want a starting time different than what the clock currently is, of course you can set your own and start and stop it as you see fit. Let's take it to the fastest time, 12 to 1. So there it is there. I'm going to hit enter. It just saved that. I'm going to go back in here. It scales me back to the first mode again, which is real time. There it is. It's now 11:33. I go to set. I continue past that. I'm now at pause. And you can see I'm at 8 o'clock in the morning where I asked it to. But I'm going to go 12 to 1 fast clock, which means at 12 to 1, it's only going to take 5 seconds to go to every minute. So we're going to see it change pretty quickly. So I'm going to hit start, and there it is. It's actually already there because I don't know how many seconds were left from the last one. But every 5 seconds, we're going to see that the minute changes. And when it gets to the end of the day at 23:59, it would go back to 0:00:00 time. So you would go right back to the beginning. So you can see that this is running, and we can continue. To show you that it will pause, I'll just click out of here. I'm going to go to my setting mode. I'm going to go back to my ratio mode. I'm going to go back up here to real time, set real time, and then finally I come back here and you can see that it paused. So I could start it again and it will continue from where it left off. And there it is. It just changed again, and we'll watch it change once more to 8:08. Perfect. I'm going to pause it. And that's basically it. So that's a real-time clock with a fast-time clock for model railroads. And of course, you could build yourself a nice little case, include the 3 mounts for 3 LEDs, for the 4 push-button switches, 1 potentiometer, of course, so you can change that brightness. And on a future edition of this, I will show it in a box, and I will also show it with a second display. So those are options you can start adding to it. Have yourself a nice day.